Welcome to all the car enthusiasts, Mini enthusiasts and Jaguar. Okay, so that video I did a couple of days ago, the question was, where do you have to be born to be a Cockney, a true Cockney, which is not something that's not official, but it's been around for hundreds of years. To be a true Cockney, you're supposed to be born within the sound of the Bow Bells, which is St Mary le Bow Church, which is basically kind of east end of London, east end. You used to go out as far as Islington. So you have to be born within the sound of Bow Bells, but the Bow Bells were actually damaged, were smashed and bombed during the Second World War, 1941 I think it was. So the Bow Bells that were in the tower were destroyed by the German Luftwaffe, and so you could say that they haven't been run since the war, but they did have another set of bells later on. And even the ones that were destroyed in 1941 were not the originals. There was one or two or three sets made because of cracks in foundries and so on. But you have to be born within the sound of Bow Bells. I was born in Guy's Hospital, which is in Southwark. Most people call it Southwark because that's the way it's spelled, but most people in London, it's Southwark and that area. But what they've now found out is, with all the noise in the city now, that the distance is getting lower and lower, it's getting smaller and smaller. So the actual catchment area is much tinier, it's a tenth of what it was. It went right out to Islington, Hackney and everywhere, whereas now it's reduced to within a very small radius, I think even within a kilometre and a half. And they're so concerned about it, they're actually talking about putting it on the bells on MP3 and then doing it over a tannoy. So there you go, but you have to be born within the sound of Bow Bells to be a true Cockney, supposedly. But again, this is all trivia, guys. So the question for tonight is, most tourists that come to the UK, they'll talk about going to the Houses of Parliament, Westminster Abbey and so on and so forth. And most people talk about Big Ben. I want to go and see Big Ben, which is not possible, because Big Ben is the bell that is inside the clock tower. And obviously with terrorism being the way it is, you used to be able to go up there. Many years ago you could go up and see the mechanism. I guess now, I would imagine, nobody's allowed in Westminster in the Parliament without security, and certainly not up in the tower, being an iconic thing. But it's the bell inside that's called Big Ben, and that has a few reasons. There's a few reasons why they think it's called that. The guy that constructed it was called Sir Benjamin, so so they call it Big Ben. But they're not sure if it could have come from a boxer. Anyway, so this is Big Ben. So the trivia question for tonight is, how do they adjust the clock for Big Ben? Sorry, not Big Ben, that's the bell. How do they adjust the clock mechanism? They have a certain item that they use which will advance or slow it down. So, and I'll give you a clue, it's working on a pendulum. So they use a certain item, and that one certain item will make it change by 0.4 seconds per 24 hours, either faster or slower. So they have a certain item that they use, which is in common use, and they use it to change how the clock works, or the efficiency of the clock. So that's the question I've got for you tonight. What do they use to change the clock mechanism to make it, to retard it or advance it, if you like, for want of a better, bit mechanical, but you know what I mean, to make it go faster or slower. So that's the question for tonight. So I'm going to show you what we've been up to. I'll pick the camera up now and I'll show you. So you can see here, this is this machine that we've made up. So I had a friend of mine, he's made this for me, and we've put the motor on it. And you can see now, what I've got is this. This is from the Land Rover. So as I press this, you can see now the dies, and I can adjust it to whatever speed I want, as slow. And then it's not all fixed up yet, but then I can turn the switch, and you can see it going the other way. But I can go as slow or as fast as I want. Now the reason, you can see that's very slow to work with. Now the problem with this is, if I can go quite quickly, and you can hear still the noise going, but it's not turning. And the reason for that is this has two motors on it. So what's happening is as I press the potentiometer or whatever it's called, you can see the motor with the least resistance on it will work. So if I was to tighten this down, you can see now, watch, it'll stop working and this one will go. You can see it's turning, but now it's stopped. So the problem is because it's almost like a four-wheel drive on the little Land Rover. So what our intentions are now is to attach this one by collar to this one, and then we'll both work in the same direction and give double the power. And that's how we're going to do it. So that's the project for tomorrow. But it works. It does what it said on the tin, and he's made a lovely job of that end piece. And now it means I can stand here and operate it the way I want to. And obviously all these switches and things will, so I'll turn it back the other way. You can see the rollers turning, and it's so slow I can work it properly. So that's how we're going to set it all up. The wiring's not in yet properly, and for 11 months of the year, or 11 and a half months, I think the Land Rover's used for a couple of weeks of the year, I can get some use out of it. So I'm doubling the workload of it, because they were quite expensive, the motors and everything, so it just seems I can get a lot more out of it. Anyway, right, so going on, the Mini, I welded in the part this morning. I'll just open this up, and watch it doesn't catch there, and I'll put this light on so you can see it. There we go, it's a bit bright, but you can see that the strap's in there now. Hopefully, well, you can see it better there, in fact. You can see where it is. Hope that's showing. Yeah, there you go. Sorry about the light, it's a bit difficult to get in, but you can see how it's in now. And it's nice across there. I've just got to put a bit of bracing in it, but it's loose at the moment. On the XK, I'll turn this out maybe. A bit bright. Sorry about that. On the XK, you can see we're doing a lot of work on the light pods. That's all getting rubbed back again now. And we did some repairs. Just a second. We did some repairs here. And I'll put the light on again. In fact, maybe you could, there you go, you can see it better now. So that's all been repaired. There was a big hole there. This one you will need a light. See, that's been repaired down there. So the new section put in it. And one on the bulkhead, which is that one there. That might be a bit too bright, you can just see it there. There's a cover goes over it, and that's why it was badly rusted, because the cover was trapping the water. So the next big job on this one, let me get around again, is these are the battery boxes. So this one here is brand new. In fact, I'll get rid of the light now because it's too much. That's new battery boxes. So that one and that one over there is new ones that I bought for mine, because mine were completely rusted out. And these are the ones from the white car, from Johan's car. You can see somebody's put some old Dexian in it to keep it together. So what we'll do now is rebuild these to the same standard as these ones. Basically they're only flat plates, so they're easy enough to do. And then we have to try them out before we can send the car off for painting. But it's going to be, I would say, a few months before we get everything done. There's a few little bits and pieces here and there to do. So yeah, that's it for tonight. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. That's worked out nice, and there you got to see I've got a kind of Le Mans type filler cap on it. But yeah, so I haven't got the rubber in properly, it's on the outside. Anyway, so that's it for tonight. So as I say, if you like a bit of trivia, what is it that makes the clock tower or the clocks change time forward or backwards? And I'll talk to you in a couple of days. Hope you like the bead roller. I'm really pleased with it. So take care. Bye for now. Bye.